Imagine this. A scientist in a high-security lab adjusts a microscope, but in the next room, a tiny mistake is about to change the world forever. What if I told you that some of the deadliest viruses on Earth weren't created by nature, but by humans, accidentally? Stay with me as we count down the top 10 unknown viruses created by scientists, by mistake. Now please subscribe. Your one subscribe fuels my passion and keeps my dream alive. I'll put in my full effort to bring you the rarest and most valuable knowledge. Number 10. The virus that woke up. After 30,000 years. In a frozen wasteland of Siberia, researchers drilled deep into the permafrost, hoping to uncover ancient microbes. But they never expected what happened next. Inside the ice, they found a virus. Still alive. After 30,000 years. Scientists named it Pathovirus sibericum, and when they brought it back to life in a lab, it started infecting cells instantly. Here's the terrifying part. This virus was completely intact despite being frozen for millennia. What else is hiding under the ice, waiting for the right moment to return? Some experts believe that ancient diseases far deadlier than anything today could still be buried beneath glaciers, just waiting to thaw. And with rising temperatures, that moment might be coming sooner than we think. But this is only the beginning. If you thought this was bad, wait until you hear about number 9, because this one almost caused a global catastrophe. Number 9, the virus that escaped a lab, and no one noticed. Picture this. A high-security biolab, filled with scientists working on deadly pathogens. One mistake could unleash something unstoppable. And in 1977, that's exactly what happened. A strange flu virus appeared out of nowhere in China and the Soviet Union, spreading rapidly. But something was off. When researchers studied it, they made a chilling discovery. This flu virus was nearly identical to a strain that had disappeared 20 years earlier. How? The only logical explanation: it had escaped from a laboratory. Here's where things get even more disturbing. Many scientists believe this was the result of a failed vaccine experiment. Instead of protecting people, it leaked into the population, mutating and spreading. The scariest part: the full truth has never been revealed. To this day, no one knows exactly how it got out, or if something even worse is still hidden inside labs today. And speaking of deadly lab accidents, number 8 will make you question just how safe these experiments really are. Number 8, the man who created a virus that shouldn't exist. In 2002, Australian scientists were working on a cure for mousepox, a disease that affects rodents. But when they made a small tweak to the virus, they accidentally created a nightmare. The new strain was unstoppable. It wiped out entire populations of mice, even ones that had been vaccinated. Scientists panicked. If this modification could make mousepox so deadly, what would happen if someone did the same to smallpox? Experts realized that a similar mistake could make one of history's deadliest diseases even more powerful. The worst part? This information was published for the world to see. That means anyone with the right knowledge could replicate this disaster. Now, let's move to number 7. Because this next virus wasn't just an accident. It was created on purpose. Number 7. The synthetic killer virus that should never have been made. What if I told you that scientists once built a deadly virus from scratch, just to see if they could? In 2005, a team of researchers reconstructed the Spanish flu, the virus responsible for one of the deadliest pandemics in human history. And here's the shocking part. They did it using publicly available genetic data. Let's put this into perspective. The Spanish flu killed over 50 million people in 1918. And now, thanks to modern science, an exact copy exists again. In a laboratory. One wrong move, one mistake, and history could repeat itself. And if you think that's bad, wait until you hear about number 6. Because this next virus was stolen. Wait, please, pay attention. Knowledge is power, and I'm giving it all to you. Now you really should subscribe. And yes, you must watch the full video too. Please. Let's resume. Number 6. The deadly virus that went missing. In 2013, a top security lab in Texas made a horrifying discovery. A freezer containing vials of a deadly virus had been left unlocked for years. Even worse? Some samples were completely missing, The virus in question was Venezuelan equine encephalitis virus, a disease so dangerous it has been classified as a potential bioweapon. It attacks the brain, causing inflammation, seizures, and death. And yet, it somehow vanished from a high-security facility without a trace. Who took it? Where is it now? No one knows. To this day, the missing vials have never been found. And if that doesn't terrify you, just wait for the top 5, because things are about to get even darker. Number 5, the forgotten virus that scientists accidentally brought back. Imagine this. A scientist cracks open a decades-old vial, expecting to find a harmless sample. But instead, they unleash something that should have stayed buried. In 2014, researchers at the U.S. National Institutes of Health made a chilling discovery. Inside an old storage room, hidden in a forgotten cardboard box, were vials of smallpox, one of the deadliest viruses in human history. How is that even possible? Smallpox was declared eradicated in 1980, and only 2 labs in the world were supposed to have samples. But somehow, these deadly vials had been sitting in storage, forgotten for decades. Here's the terrifying part. Scientists opened some of the vials, and the virus was still alive. If they hadn't been careful, they could have restarted a global pandemic with one mistake. But the real question is, how many more forgotten vials are still out there, hidden in storage, just waiting to be found? But if you think this was scary, wait until you hear about number 4. Because this next virus was never meant to exist. Number 4, the lab experiment that accidentally created a supervirus. Scientists at Erasmus Medical Center in the Netherlands were studying bird flu, a virus that mainly infects birds but rarely spreads to humans. Their goal? To understand what mutations would make it more infectious. But they made a horrifying mistake. With just a few modifications, they accidentally created a mutant strain that could spread through the air, between mammals. Suddenly, a virus that was hardly a threat to humans became terrifyingly contagious. Here's the real nightmare. When news of this experiment broke, experts around the world begged them not to publish the research. Why? Because if this information fell into the wrong hands, it could be weaponized. And guess what? The full details of the experiment were eventually published anyway. That means anyone with the right skills could recreate this deadly virus. If you think this was reckless, wait until you hear about number 3. Because this next virus, it wasn't just made by accident. It was designed for destruction. Number 3, the secret bioweapon that disappeared. There's a virus so deadly that governments won't even confirm it exists. A virus so lethal that just a few drops could wipe out a city. And according to some reports, it vanished. During the Cold War, Soviet scientists were secretly working on a weaponized version of smallpox, one that was even deadlier than the original. This wasn't just a disease, it was designed to kill as many people as possible in the shortest amount of time. Here's the most disturbing part. After the fall of the Soviet Union, some of these virus samples went missing. To this day, no one knows exactly how many vials disappeared or where they ended up. Could they be in the hands of rogue scientists? Could someone, somewhere, be preparing to unleash something unstoppable? If this doesn't keep you up at night, number 2 definitely will. Because this next virus didn't escape from a lab. It was tested on humans. Number 2, the virus that was secretly tested on people. What if I told you that scientists intentionally infected people with a deadly virus without their knowledge? In the 1950s, the US government launched a top-secret biological warfare experiment. They released a virus-like bacteria in public places, including the New York subway and a San Francisco neighborhood, just to see how fast it would spread. Thousands of people were unknowingly exposed. Some fell mysteriously ill. At least one person died. And for years, no one knew what had really happened. Even when the truth finally came out, no one was held accountable. And if experiments like this happened in the past, who's to say they aren't happening right now? But nothing compares to what's at number 1. Because this virus was created by AI. Number 1, the AI-designed virus that shocked the world. In 2021, a team of researchers used artificial intelligence to see if a machine could design new drugs. But within just 6 hours, the AI had done something horrifying. Instead of designing medicine, it created thousands of deadly chemical weapons, including recreations of some of the most dangerous viruses in history. If we're already at this level of danger now, what will the future look like? That's the top 10 unknown viruses created by scientists, by mistake. But now, I want to hear from you. Which virus shocked you the most? Do you think something even worse could be out there? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget, please subscribe, because hitting your subscribe button can give me new motivation to work harder and succeed. See you in the next video, if the world is still here by then.